Alrighty, alrighty. So this is a little impromptu kind of live session, I guess I wanted to do. I've got some shoes. Let's see, one, two, three, four, five, six pairs of boots. Actually, six pairs, seven pairs of boots that need to be stitched. Soles are on, trimmed, and ready to go. Not expecting very many people to join, but if you're joining, welcome, or you're watching this at another time, welcome as well. So instead of getting them all stitched, I figured I'd do a live session to show you guys how it's done in real life, real time, without any cuts or anything like that. So, still have nobody, but again, I don't expect people to join. But if you're here at a later date, I appreciate you. All right, so I got my coffee, got my sewing machine. We're ready to go. First pair is going to be, these are Laredo, Laredo boots. Vibram 700 soles. These have a plastic welt on there, which I typically like to replace the plastic welts, but these were in fairly new condition, so we don't really need to do that. But first step is what we're gonna do is we're gonna come over here. I know you can't really see what I'm doing, but I'm going to adjust my table, my sewing machine, to where it's gonna line up with all of the original holes on the welt as far as the depth goes, right? So I'm coming here, apply it. Now there's a little wing nut and tighten the nut. And I'm gonna roll the all up a little bit and check and see. Looks like we're on. Oh hey, we got one person. Hello. Just sewing boots here. I got like 6 pairs, 7 pairs of boots I need to stitch. So I wanna show you guys in real life, real time, what it looks like to stitch 7 pairs of boots. So we're just adjusting our sewing machine right now to make sure it's stitched, it fits. I'm gonna grab a pen and then I make a mark on the little sole. So now I have my mark there. Can you guys see it? So I'm gonna now adjust my groover, which is this piece. I know you can't see it. Unfortunately, I can't have multiple angles, but I'm gonna adjust that. It looks like it lands right on. Perfect. So now we're gonna turn this machine on, and we're going to carve a channel into the bottom of the sole so that when we go to stitch it, it'll be countersunk. So might be loud, I don't know, but I'm gonna turn the vents on and we're gonna groove this thing. I'm gonna do the other one while I'm at it too, while I have it running. We got Scott on here. Welcome, Scott. All right, so now you see we have the channel grouped, okay? This customer wanted a white top stitch, and let's see, and a black bottom stitch, which was perfect because we got white on the bottom and we got black on the top. Now I'm gonna double check my bobbin to make sure it has enough thread in there, so I don't want to run out halfway through. Looks like we do got that perfectly. So I'm gonna see if I can readjust you guys to maybe see this a little bit better. Oh, I got you on like a little, kind of like a tripod, not really, but I can only have it on the table. So we got our little table set up. Now this is a pretty wide stitch. I don't know if you can see the distance between the holes. And so I got, this is the, well, you can't see this, but this thing, the farther back it goes, the more narrower the stitch. Far forward it goes, the wider the stitch. So this is a pretty wide stitch. So we have white on the bottom, black on the top, which since we stitch them upside down, we have white on the top, black on the bottom. So plastic welt's always really tricky to stitch. So let's say a quick prayer and then let's go and run it. Now this might be loud as well, so be careful. Something happened. Alright, I don't know if you can see this or not, but it's kind of skipped a stitch there. Why did it skip a stitch? God knows why. Usually, sometimes the sewing machine will mess up like the first 1 or 2 stitches, and it's best to get rid of it, or to not get rid of it, but start all over instead of trying to stitch the entire thing and then going and fixing it. That way it's one constant stitch. All right, let's try this again. Make sure I know where I'm going to start. Take a look. Turned out real nice. Usually plastic welts don't do this well, but we got pretty lucky this time. So that's the first one. I'm gonna grab the second one here and hope that we can do the same thing. All right. Hopefully it's not beginner's luck. That one seemed okay. Yeah, not too shabby. You're not gonna be able to see much of the bottom stitch because it's black on a black sole, but did pretty good. Did pretty good. All right. So first pair done. We're gonna put those off to the side. We'll do the heels and stuff tomorrow. Okay. You guys back here because the next one we've got some. Hold on. Put these heels with that boot because that's what goes with them. All right, don't lose anything. All right, so we got some Dan posts here. These are, I believe, Cayman, Gator, not too sure exactly, but these have a double row stitch on there. So we're gonna do the exact same thing that we did, but with a double stitch instead of a single stitch. So this one's a little bit more trickier, again, because this is a double stitch. And this is why I charge a little bit extra for the double stitch. So I'm gonna adjust my table. Make sure it's spot on, that's where we need it. Okay, then I'm gonna run it all through the boot. Grab my pen so I can mark it. All right, so we got a little mark there. We're gonna go to the groover, see if it'll line up. All right, it's gotta go in a little bit more. So there's a little Allen wrench here. I could adjust the guide to come out and go in a little bit. Excuse me. All right. Make sure it's nice and tight. All right, we're gonna groove this one. Grab the other one, do that one too. All right, let's see what this guy wants. White top stitch and a black bottom stitch too. So that's gonna be easy because we have everything set up already. I'm gonna check the bobbin real quick. No way. Okay, great. All right. We're all set here. Now I know some people, other cobblers do this a little bit differently. The way I like to do it, I like to stitch the inside row first. Inside row on both boots first, and then I'll go and I'll adjust everything for the outside row and do the outside row. So let me move you guys back over here real quick. Super professional, I know. You can see everything. All right, cool beans. So I have the inside row grooved and stitched on, or grooved and ready to stitch. Now this one has the stitch length a little bit closer, so I'm gonna barely touch that. And hopefully the goal is to hit all of the original holes. Now, I can't guarantee it because we're stitching it upside down, but if we adjust everything correctly, we'll get pretty close, okay? So let's see what we got here. First loop got caught, but I didn't skip any stitches. Just gonna move that out of the way real quick. All right. All right, see how we did. First row, you see right there, kind of skip the stitches there, but pretty much, I mean, the front looks beautiful. All right, that one went well. That's a good thing. We got to do that 3 more times on the one pair of boots. Hold on, hold on. Yeah, skipped another stitch. So I'm gonna pull out all the thread. sometimes, man. This machine works real well. Other times, not good. But so far, we've been doing pretty good. Haven't had any issues in a while. But I just hate unthreading everything and then having to re-thread it back again and re-stitch it back. Alright. Cool beans. Beans are indeed cool. Let's try this again. Sometimes I go a little bit slower at the beginning so I can double check to make sure it's all good. Hold on. Oh. Damn. So, this top thread right here, I don't know if you can see this loop. It's the first loop, and it always keeps on getting caught. Alright, let's try this again. Do it again. But I caught it this time. Where's my little awl? Pull that out of the way. So that, there you go. Alright, that's it. Yep, it's always that first stitch. Once you get past the first stitch, it's pretty simple. Not too shabby. I mean, it's not perfect. The stitch length is a little too wide for them, but I don't know. It's really hard to do this type of stuff with original welts. That's why I always tell people when they mail their shoes in, even if the boots don't need new welts aesthetically, if you have OCD like me, man, especially with a bright stitch, like a white stitch, you can't hide anything. And like you're walking and you see the stitching. So if it's off a little bit, it bothers me. And sometimes like I'll just redo it because it looks horrible and I wouldn't even want to wear them at that point. So why would I expect someone else to wear it? All right, so now we got to get set up for the second row. The reason I like doing one row on either one is because to do the other row, I have to adjust this table. And I don't want to have to adjust it and then adjust it back for the second one. So I just do the single row on both sides and then we'll adjust it and do the outside row for both of them. So let me see. Looks like it's going to fit. Looks like it's going to work. All right, yep, great. Where's my pen? Oh, there it is. Looking for the little hole that the awl left. It's hard to tell with the rubber because the rubber kind of closes in on itself. All right, let me see if I can adjust you that way you can at least watch me over there do that. I got 20 people on. Wow, cool beans. Oh wait, hold on. I gotta adjust this again. That's no good. Alright. So I line everything up to the 10 line. And then tighten it all down. Double check. Good to go. second row is good to go. Let's do this thing. I'm gonna double check this bobbin again, just because I hate running out mid-stitch. All right, looks like we should be good. All right. Now this is where it could go really good or really, really bad. We're praying for really good. Alrighty. Moment of truth. That is presentable. Presentable. Definitely looks really good. Thank you, Jesus. One more time. Come on. Oh, what did that do? Broke the thread. I got caught up in that needle again. Broke the thread this time. Let's rethread it. Start off a little bit slower this time. I got a little overzealous. Maybe one hand stitch, or hand, when I roll it up, it allows me to give control over the stitch. So do the first one by hand, and the second one can be the pedal. Man, the bottom you're not going to see very well, but at least all the stitches got into the groove, and then the top looks real nice as well. Beautiful. Praise God for that. All right, second row. Let's put heels and stuff back in these guys, because we'll do the new heel bases and heels tomorrow. Put that off to the side. Next pair. All right, this one is kind of a sad pair, unfortunately. And they're not sad to look at, but the reason they came in was pretty sad. These are Tinhole, and they were hardly worn, hardly touched at all. But unfortunately, a dog got to the tips of the welts. Thankfully, didn't eat up into the uppers, but ate the welts. So now we have to put new soles and everything on there. So, yeah. Pretty nice. Tinhole. Tinhole makes some nice boots. Aesthetically. Internally, structurally, not the best, but definitely very beautiful soles. So, what I'm going to do first, because I don't know if you can see, that's got a pretty, it's round. It's not supposed to be round. It's supposed to be square. When you're looking down, it's supposed to follow the shape of the boot. All right, so you see the difference here? Because we have to do new welts, we have to now shape it. So I'm gonna point you guys over here. And I'm gonna use this to shape the shoe before we stitch it. Because the stitching is gonna follow the edge of the welt. Excuse me. And so we want the welt and the sole to follow that shape. See the difference between that and that? That is what we want. That is not what we want. Because that doesn't look like a cowboy boot. That looks like a cowboy boot. Let me do this one real quick, make the match, and that way we can stitch them all. Cool. We got them matching. All right, now we have to, now these got new wells, all right? So there's no holes on the upper there. So we still have to adjust this to get that inside row and the outside row. Let's see. Oh, 23 people, that's pretty cool. When I started, like this was, I usually do this, I put some music on, I get going, you know, I get it done in a couple hours. I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna live stream. Why not? I think it'd be pretty cool. Let people see what I'm doing. All right, let's see real quick, hold on, what the customer wanted as a bottom stitch. All right, bottom, oh, cream top stitch and cream bottom stitch. All right, so we're gonna change out the thread. We don't want white thread, we want a cream thread. I'll show you guys what that looks like. All right, cream, white. So I'm gonna see, angle you guys all the way down there. Let's see, maybe I can put it like that. You guys see that? Oh yeah, okay. Well, so this spool is on this side. I know you can't see to this thing. Let me see. So it's just a bunch of heel material. Oh, hey, wow, it's a new bobbin. Not a new one, but one that fell. That's cool. All right, you see that? I'm glad I found that. Let me go find my scissors. Hold on, give me 2 seconds. I have a pair of scissors that are supposed to stay there at that machine, but they never do. All right, I got it. So the thread starts here on the spool and goes up into there, through out through here, and gets all threaded into the machine. So instead of having to sit here and pull it all out and rethread it, what I do is we'll tie one side to the thread, and we'll be able to hopefully pull it all out at the same time without having to rethread it. Okay. All right, so I'm doing a double knot, a square knot, I'm sorry. I do a square knot, and I just do a third one just to make sure, and I make sure to test it because I don't like it when it doesn't come out the way, like I'm pulling on it and it breaks on the inside. Then I have to sit here and thread it all. It doesn't make any sense. Wasting time doing that. All right. And now, I'm gonna throw that away. We'll tighten up. There's a little, what we call a wax stripper, because there's thread lubricant. The thread runs through the lubricant, and then there's a stripper that takes any excess off. So we do that. Great. All right, so you want a cream top, a cream bottom. Do I have any bottom? No. All right. I guess we're gonna be doing cream bottom stitch. But you know what I just did? Oh, that's funny. I don't have a second spool of cream. Oh, son of a gun. Oh. Yep. Because the thread spooler is on this side. I don't know if you guys probably can't see it. But let me see if I can get you to an angle that you might be able to. So you can see. Maybe. Oh, okay. Yeah. Right here. Right here. All right. Look right there. So I put the spool down here. Turn on the machine. And then this makes that spin. We'll be able to fill up a bobbin. All right. We got our bobbin full now. Now let's just put this thing back in. Oh, I probably should have checked before I did that. Usually I have 2 spools. I might have run out of the last one. All right. Again, a double knot. Not double knot, square knot, which I learned in the Boy Scouts, a double knot or square knot is a knot designed for tying 2 ends of rope together so that they don't pull and come undone. Alrighty. Let's throw that away. Tying back up this wax stripper. Thank you guys for your patience. My numptiness. All right. Now we're gonna change out this bobbin. So this is the bobbin casing. We got the bobbin. I'm gonna change out to the cream bobbin. Run it through the hole. And then up through. Beautiful. All right. Now we're ready. We're ready to get ready to stitch. So we gotta adjust the table first. Let's double see. I just want to touch that welt to see where it's at. Can you guys see this? Let's see. Oh, right there. Right there, that little mark. So that's kind of right where we want it. So we're good, okay? Now we'll run the awl through and then back. And now we have a mark to go do the grooving. I love my Model L. This thing is a beast and has given me very little issues. I got a second one that I absolutely love too, but the pedal broke, and it's like mission impossible to find another one that the pedal is good on. Because I guess they made 3 or 4 different Model Ls with 3 or 4 different pedals. So I looked for like a whole month for pedals, and everyone sent me the wrong freaking pedal. So now it's sitting in the front of my shop as a display until I can get another pedal. But you know, love my L. Love my L. All right. Let's go ahead and adjust this. I know it's not going to fit. Beautiful. So we're going to do the same way we did the damn posts, right? We're going to do the inside row of both of them, and then we'll do the outside row. Back here. You can have a machinist friend make you one. All right. DM me on Instagram. I think it's oldsoul_shoeman or something like that. DM me and then I'll see if we can hook up. I would love it if I can get a new pedal and have two machines. That way I can have one machine set up for like black, and then the only stitch is black, and the other machine for white. And then, because those are the two main colors I use, black and white. So if I could have that, it'd save me so much time. And I got an apprentice here too that's helping me. He's learning how to stitch. So if I could get him on a machine, beautiful. Send me an Instagram or text me. My business cell phone is 559-733-4004. If you didn't catch that, rewind the video. That's the phone number. Text me and we can go from there. I appreciate you. Thank you. Okay, so if I remember correctly, these had a pretty narrow stitch. And in my opinion, with double row stitches, it's got to be narrow for it to look good. So, got this thing pushed back. And then we have our groove that lets the stitching sit countersunk, but also as a guide, because when I'm moving along, as long as I know that it's going into the groove, it's going to hit right where we want it on top. Okay? Let me do one more thing with leather soles. I like to wet it. This is a spray bottle of just water, and that softens the leather. Not necessary, but it's a nice little, helps the machine a little bit, helps me. Let's see here. First row done. Look at that beautiful stitch. Oh my goodness, on a dark brown welt. Absolutely beautiful. All right, let's do the second one. Sweat this guy. Okay, ready to go. Nice. All right, one more time. hiccup of the night. Do you see that? That's no good. No bueno. So how do I fix this? All right, because we don't want it to look nice. So it looks like something happened here with this bobbin that I got caught and wasn't allowing it to pull it all the way through. Okay. All right. So let me unstitch it a little bit. Get a smaller awl. That's a fat awl. Okay. All right. So what we're gonna do first, man, it was going so beautiful too. We're gonna check this bobbin here real quick. Man, everything's fine. I must have hit like a little weird kink or knot or something on the inside. Oh, that's not supposed to do that. You know what that tells me though? Oh my gosh. As if I thought tonight was supposed to go super smooth. You remember how I don't like to thread this thing? I guess what we're gonna have to do, we're gonna have to thread it. So these spools are not always 100% a continuous spool. So they tie the joints together, and if you don't see it, this happens. It runs out. Okay. So I guess you guys get to watch me thread my machine, which I guess is all right. It's been a while since I've threaded the machine. Might be a good little reminder. All right, grab this. So it goes up through here. I'll see if I can move you guys over here to the angle. You'll be able to see. Give me a second. Bear with me. Okay, grab that off of that. Okay. Alrighty, bear with me. We're doing this. Put you guys up to there. All right. So, yeah, you can't really see all the components here because of the lighting, but there's just a lot of stuff here that we don't have to go through to get this thing back up and running. So I'm gonna go grab something real quick. I'll be right back. It's a long threading wire. All right, so we got this wire. This is gonna help me take it from the bottom to the top. So I'm gonna come up through this little top hole. Where is it? Man, I can't see. I need some light. There it is. All right. So it's going down here, and that's coming through the bottom here. I don't know, you guys can't see because it's that. Just give me 2 seconds. I'm trying to make this work. Again, tonight was supposed to go so smooth. All right. Cool beans. And pull this up through. Very nice. Now we can close this door. Okay. So you can't see this thing, but we're gonna unscrew this. Okay. Come on. Right as I was saying, I don't have any issues with this machine. It wasn't really the machine that broke or messed up. It was the spool All right, so now we're gonna go into here. Again, I know you can't see what I'm doing. I'm trying my best here. I was not set up to re-spool the machine tonight. But these are the things that I kind of run into as I'm working on shoes. Not all the time does it go very nice and smoothly, but we do our best. Okay. So we got this machine, this little thing. We'll thread it through. Okay. And now this is that stripper, wax stripper I was telling you about. We're gonna unscrew this like that. I'm gonna grab a smaller little wire thing, wire spooler, threader thing. I'm gonna come up through little rubber piece. You see it's coming through there. Go through that, like that. Screw this back on. Very nice. All right. It's been a while since I've done this one. I've done this. Right. Ooh. Okay, very nice. All right, so it's coming through. Now I can put this little plate back on. That's what we need. Okay. So the next step is to, there's a little gear thing that I really don't know what it does. Really, I just know that the thread has to go around it. That's pretty much all I know. So thread the gear thing. I think this is a tensioner. If I'm not mistaken, this is the tensioner. Okay. Now, the tensioner, I think we go up and around some more loop-de-loops. I think. You guys can tell I don't do this very often. I used to do it quite a bit because I would make mistakes all the time in the past, or I would just break the thread because I wasn't using the machine right. It would fall through, or I didn't test my knots before I read it through, and it would, yeah. Good practice though. I think I've done this at least 100 times. And it's, there we go, to the top. It was funny, the first time I ever had to do this, I was still learning how to use the machine. And my father-in-law, which is the one that taught me, he taught me the that knot method to tie the knot and then pull it through. Is that because you don't want to have to rethread it? It takes so much time. And so I'm like, all right. So I tied the knot like the Boy Scout I was, and then I go to pull it through, and guess what? Yep, the knot pulled out. Where did my blue thing go? Right there. So I was still learning everything, right? And I guess he wasn't that ready for me to learn how to do this, and tore the knot. And he's like, well, I guess you learned it today. And so here we are, almost a master at this thing. I've been doing this for like 4 or 5 years now, and I can now confidently say I am very proficient on this machine. Not an expert, not yet. Maybe another 5 years from now, I'll be an expert. Alrighty. That's it. Very nice. Coming up through. Alright. Alright. Oh, just like that, we're ready to stitch again. Let's move you guys back. You can see my whole shop. Alright. Let's pull pull you guys down just like that. Alrighty. Thank you for your patience. This is kind of also why I wanted to go live and do this, so you guys can see what I go through. All right. So back to the issue. We weren't able to stitch all the way through. So we're gonna line it up right where it stopped. Okay. Go through that exact same hole and continue on. All right, now, how do we make that look like it never happened? Is the question. So we're gonna make sure that both knots are pretty tight, which they are, which is a good thing. Okay. I'm gonna cut it as close as we can to the edge. These are the custom knives that dude made me for fixing his shoes. If you haven't seen that video, it's pretty cool. I fixed a pair of his Nicks, I want to say, Nicks boots. They were a pretty big restoration. He's like, I'll make you some cobbler knives because I own my own knife company. I was like, hell yeah, let's do it. So now what I'm doing is I'm just kind of pushing those tips, the thread, because you could see, you still see it, right? Let me grab. All right. Just going to push those tips back there into the hole. Now this isn't going to cause any issues structurally. It's still going to be just as strong and durable as it was if we went all the way through. Okay, so don't worry about that. All right. Now you can still tell. Let's see, all right, right there. But once I do my second stitch, I want to run it under a this guy, which is the welt presser, and it's gonna flatten it all out, and you won't ever be able to tell that it ever happened. And again, there won't be any issues of it coming unstitched down the road. All right, let's get ready for the second stitch now. Second stitch. This is kind of like I said, a guessing game. All right, see how that looks like. All right, look at this. All right, you see where that is right there? So that's too close to that stitch. So I gotta bring this further. See, this little bottom table is too loose. There we go. I'm gonna tighten this guy up. Maintenance on these machines is key. It rattles so much that it kind of works parts loose. So remove the forward. All right. Now, do you see that one right there? This guy. That one's perfect. That's right where we want it. So we're gonna run our needle through or all through it. Okay, beautiful. Now I'm gonna come over here to the groover. I'm gonna groove it and stitch it. Make sure it lines up with our hole, because we want we want the bottom and the top all to line up. Okay. second stitch. This is going to make or break it. I'm hoping I don't have to re-welt these. If it does, I shall. Bottom and the top. That's what we want. Hell yeah. See, this is what I always recommend. For aesthetic purposes, buying new welts, whether it's a single or double stitch. I charge an extra $100 for it because I have to hand stitch them on, but it is well worth it if you have OCD, like me. Let's do this one. Hopefully, this one will go as smooth as the last one and have no complications. All right. Whew. Got like a pit in my stomach from doing that. Check that guy out. Just like it came from the manufacturer. That is our goal. That's what we want. We don't want our repairs to look like a repair. We want it to look like it came that way from the factory. That's our goal. All right, pair number 3 down. Ready to go to 4. Okay, what do we got next? All right, yeah, check these guys out. These are pretty cool. Look at the shaft, color of the shaft on these guys. Nice and green. What brand are these? Does it say? Justin boots. He's got JR soles, which is a little bit better quality than our GM soles, which, yeah, so these got, the Tinhole boots got GM. These ones are getting JR. And this is how they come. JR, GM. They're both German pit tanned leather. This one's tanned for 6 months. This one's tanned for a full year. So this one's gonna last about twice as long as this guy, but this one will last twice as long as what most manufacturers are actually putting on their boots. So either way you go, definitely well worth it. If you want to get just the standard or the basic, which is the GM, do that. But if you want to go ball out on your boots, do the JR, especially if you're wearing them for like daily a lot. Definitely, it's well worth the JR. But if you every now and then, the GM will do you just fine too. All right. Let's see. Brown Western boots, cream top stitch, cream bottom stitch. Cool. Man, do none of these have cool, funky stitches? Like, I want to do one, like a red stitch or something. Dark, brown top stitch. All right. These ones don't have a bottom stitch labeled, so we should be able to get kind of funky with those. Maybe I might do green. You go to a green bottom stitch on this one, right? I gotta do what the customer wants though. All right, black mid, black top stitch. Cool. These ones are. We can do what we want with those ones too. All right. So same process. We got to get this one set up. All right, that's lined up good. Tighten that down. Just remove this here. All right, so before we go ahead and groove it, I want to show you guys something. Do you see that? So when we sand it, this little extra burr comes on, or is left. And that's what this is for. This is a numb keg. So that's what you saw me earlier with the Tinhole doing this. Midsoles. Midsole is a good question. Most cowboy boots don't come with midsoles. I prefer midsoles on my cowboy boots, but if you're riding horses, you don't want a thick sole because you get stuck in the stirrups. But if you're wearing them daily, leather midsoles, thin leather midsoles are the way to go. If you're up 185 and down, do the thin leather midsole. If you're 185 to 225, do a thick. And if you're 225 and up, do a double midsole. That's 2 layers of the thin leather midsoles. And I'll show you guys what that looks like right now. But basically, the heavier you weigh, the more support you need. So that's the thin. It's the 7 to 8 ounce. This is 10 to 11. And it's not much of a thickness difference. But it's maybe like 1/8 of an inch, like less than 1/8, 1/16 of an inch. But it makes the biggest difference in the world when you put midsoles on your boots, because you're adding that extra layer in between your foot and the ground so you don't feel the ground as much. But you do kind of lose that thin waist area because your heel block was there, right? This is the old one. And so typically what manufacturer will do, they'll thin out this section here from the where you're not walking. So it's a nice, smooth, thin waist. But with the midsoles, you add thickness to it. But for the extra support, in my opinion, it is well worth it. So, and then if you want to do rubber midsoles, it's all right. Typically, I do rubber midsoles for rubber soles with leather. I'd only be recommended if you wanted like an aesthetic. Like I have one red midsole left, one red rubber midsole. So you could do that in there if you want a nice red line. But yeah, midsoles typically don't come on cowboy boots unless you want them to. All right, now we got a nice thin edge to stitch to. Let's line that up. I'm gonna come in a little bit. This one's gonna be tough. I can already tell. It's pretty close to each other. When they're close to each other, it's kind of difficult. I used to be deathly afraid of double stitch boots because I wasn't good at them. And so I would get nervous and I would mess up a lot of boots. But the way I got over that was by tricking my brain to think this is easy. And sure enough, either I'm just fooling myself or I just did a whole bunch of them so it's easy for me. That's how I got good at these. So going in, if you're nervous, then you're most likely gonna mess up. If you're not nervous, then, you know, it's a piece of cake, right? Woo! You see right there? And of course, right after I say I trick myself into think it's good, I go ahead and do something like that. We'll fix it. I knew this was gonna be an issue. Alright, hopefully this one will go smoother. Alrighty. This one went well. Okay. So, what are we gonna do with this guy? Because it fell off. Oh, wow. Alright. So it's like bad all the way up into here. So what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna, you're gonna have to watch me unstitch this. We're gonna unstitch from here to the toe so that we can try again. And hopefully this time hit the holes. See, this is what I mean. If we don't do new welds, we run into issues like this. And now it's gonna be even harder to hit those original stitches because there's now more holes. But we'll make it work. We'll make it presentable and wearable for the customer. If it gets too bad, I might just have to put these aside and either hand stitch it or go in and just replace the welds and just eat the cost on that one. I wouldn't wear them if they're all bad. And I would hate to send it back to the customer and then be disappointed. Because, you know, they spent a good amount of money getting their shoes fixed. They want it to look nice. And I would understand it. Again, we don't want our repairs to look like a repair. Like, I want people to see the shoes and be like, where did you buy that? And then be like, I actually got it fixed. This is after I got it resold. So these are custom. And they'd be like, oh my gosh, who did it? And then, you know, refer customers to me. So in the end, yeah, I might eat the cost on time and materials, but the hope is that we just create a good reputation with people, that they refer other people to them, other people to us, and yeah, make the money back that way from a business standpoint, right? Like, I love what I do, but I also got to be smart about how I run the business, because if I don't do it right, then I go out of business, and then I can't do what I get to do, what I love to do. Plain and simple. All right, we're almost here. It didn't take very long. It's just kind of annoying. All right, see what it looks like on the top. All right, we're back into the holes. All right, so now, set this up. We're gonna do, I'm gonna trim this-ish. Here's my hammer. We're going to hammer the welt down. And what that's going to do is hopefully close up those holes that the original stitch went through, so that when we go to stitch it again, it'll go into the holes that we want. Alrighty. So we'll see how this one goes. Let's wet it for good luck. Good luck. Make sure we're going to the same holes. Beautiful. All right, let's do this. All right, moment of truth. Oh, let's see. It's not too bad. It kind of right there is a little bit out. All right. So what we're gonna do with this one, I'm gonna do what I did with those Tinholes. We're gonna do our double stitch, and we'll see how it looks after we do the double stitch, the second row. Sometimes the second row will get like right next to it, even though it's on the outside. And again, it'll look presentable. I just hate it when stuff like this happens, man. Okay. We'll get our second row set up. All right. Oh, it's hot in here, y'all. I set the shop to like 69 degrees, and it still get freaking hot. All right. Double check. Beautiful. All right, lines up. Poke our hole. And I'm gonna go over here to the trimmer, not the trimmer, the groover. I wanna like dance and say let's get groovy, but nah, I'm not a weirdo. Nothing against people dancing, but not me. I only dance with my wife. It's the only time you'll see me dancing. Okay. Again, no disrespect to those who dance. If you love to dance, more power to you. That is not me. I don't have any rhythm in my bones. I think the most I danced was at my wedding, which I mean, kind of have to dance at your wedding. But then again, like I slow dance with my wife, but then like the rest of it, I kind of just like stood there and swayed back and forth. But anyway. All right. By the way, if you're trying to ask me questions, I have not seen them. It pops up on my screen, but then it goes away after a couple seconds. So, trying to ask me questions and I'm not answering. I'm not ignoring you. I promise. I just can't see because it disappears if I'm not looking at the screen. So, you can always ask me questions if you want to text my business cell phone. I said it earlier, but it's a moment of truth, yo. That was not too shabby. It's all right. It's presentable. It's passable. This is the one that we'll see what happens. Oh, hold on. Skip the stitch. Try it again. Very nice. Oh. Okay. It's a little funky. You know, it's not the best, but truly, it's passable. It's presentable. Without having to re-welt it and redo it. I don't like it, but again, there's only so much I can do. Worst case scenario, if the customer doesn't like it, yeah, that's character. Worst case scenario, I can always dye the stitching dark brown. The customer will be able to make that decision, and that way you won't even be able to tell. So that one, not exactly how I wanted it to go, but again, things happen. Again, I just want to hammer this point down, and it's worth it spending that extra $100 to hand stitch new welts on. Alrighty, next pair. We have a pair of these Thursday boots. Yep. These are, I think they're Black Presidents, if I'm not mistaken. Black Presidents. So this customer wants black top stitch. But before we do that, you see the sole is too wide. So we gotta trim it, sand it. Let me take this little thing off. And this is what I like to use. It's a nice little, I think it's a roofing blade, honestly. But it allows me to cut the edge without risking hitting the upper and cutting the upper. And because they're cheap to get and they're super sharp, it saves me plenty of time. Alrighty. Yo, look at that. It's fairly center. We'll sand it, clean up the edges. You wanted a black top stitch, and again, there's no specification on what bottom stitch you wanted. So I think we might, I have green already spooled up. It's a black sole. Usually the Vibram will have a yellow on it, so I like to do like a yellow bottom stitch to match that. This one's just all black. So, what do you guys think? Let me know. Comment what color stitch we got. Green, red, blue, yellow. We have a brown, we have a rust, an orange, and a gray. Again, let me know what you guys thinking. What do you want? What should we do? I want to sand this real quick. Black and green. All right, we got one for green. Yeah, all right. 2 for green. Green again. And Green it is. We're doing green stitching. Green stitching. Let's get that changed over now. It's almost like a lime-ish green. Or, yeah, I don't know. I'm also slightly colorblind, if you guys don't know. So, I'll, most of the time when customers ask me about colors, I'll ask my wife, I'm like, what color do you think would go well with this? Because there was one time a customer, she had her, gray purse, I think a gray purse, that the stitching on the strap came undone. And so I was telling her, like, this is how I'm gonna fix it. We could stitch it, no problem. We'll use a purple thread, just like it is on here originally, because it looked purple to me. And thank God my wife was right there next to me, because the customer looked horrified. She's like, this is purple. And my wife told me, like, this is purple. It's like, it looks, or no, sorry. The customer and my wife both told me it was gray. And I was like, no, it looks purple to me. And they both looked at me like I was crazy. And I think that was the day I realized I was a little colorblind. So, if you ever send your shoes in, you have any questions about color, you just ask for me to get my wife. I will not take any offense to that. I'll be like, all right, let's do it. I'll probably be the first one to recommend it. It's not crazy bad. I think just slightly. Because my dad is colorblind too. Pretty bad, actually. They got, for one of his birthdays, they got him these colorblind glasses. And like, he's like, as soon as he put them on, literally like that song, It's a Whole New World, came on in his head. It's like, oh my gosh, I can see now. I might cut just a little bit of it. Got a little bit of it. All right. We got black thread. Black and green it is. All right, let's adjust. All right, there's the wide stitch. We're gonna put this as far back as possible. Loosen up this wing nut. Get it nice and perfect. All right. Where's my pen? All right. Come on, pen. Where'd you be? There you go. Alrighty, we got our mark. Let's come here, grab this one as well. Adjust this. Y'all ready? Don't need the water for this one. These boots, by the way, if anyone's curious, got a black rubber midsole instead of the thin leather or a leather midsole. The rubber is a little bit more of a cheaper option. Still serves a good purpose. Add some base to the shoe, so it's a good option if you don't want to spend the money on the leather midsole. All right. Let us first one done. You're not going to see the stitching because it's black on black. There's the green stitching. Looks real nice. Do the other one. Now, if you notice, we're stitching around the heel on this one. The cowboy boots, we only did the front because those were 270-degree welted. These are 360, which means the welt that holds the sole on is stitched all the way around. Not too shabby. There's the green. Now this one, it kind of fell out of the stitch or the groove on the outside, but that's going to be covered up by the heel, so that's not an issue. But pair number, what was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 done. We've got 2 more to go. 2 more to go. The last pair is going to be pretty interesting. These are the JK boots. We'll do that one last. Brown top stitch. Actually, we might do that one now. Let's see. Because this is a black top stitch. Alright, so I don't have to rethread the machine because these are getting brown. This can get black. These are JK, I don't know what style, not super duty. I don't know my JK boots, but what these did, okay, so JKs are a stitch down. It's different than a Goodyear welt, okay? The Goodyear welt has a leather piece that gets stitched to the shoe. Stitch down is where the uppers get stitched down to the sole. All right, move this ticket out of the way so you don't see the customer's information. They come down, flare out, and then the midsole gets stitched to that. Now, we hand stitch these, the fronts, okay? The original one had a stitch all the way around the back. Now, I don't necessarily have to hand stitch the back because it's just stitching the 2 midsoles together. These have a 3/4 leather midsole, just like I did originally, tapers down, and a second leather midsole that goes all the way throughout. So only the first row is stitched. We still have the second row stitching. But we're gonna put a wedge sole on, and then we're gonna stitch the wedge sole to that second row. But now we're gonna stitch the back of this. So let me clean up, make this look a little bit better to both of them. And then that way we have our shape where we want it, and the stitch will follow that. guys don't want to watch my back, do you? Okay. Alrighty. Next step, adjust the table, just like old times. Now this one kind of goes pretty deep in there, so we're gonna go like that. I'm gonna make sure. So the issue, now I want to be able to. All right, so let's show. So in here, how do I show you guys this? Okay, hold on. So in here, right here, the stitch needs to go pretty deep in. So it's landing right about there. But here in the back, it's like pretty close to the edge. So we want it grooved so that in the future, when we take the wedge sole off, we can just lightly sand this and put a new piece on. Now this machine has a pretty cool feature where it has a built-in knife that'll pre-groove it as you stitch it. So I'm gonna see if we could use that. Oh, I went down a little too far. You can adjust how far down it goes as well. All right, let's try this. So the whole point is to hold it at the right angle, the entire way around. While the knife is cutting the groove, the channel or the stitch falls into that groove. That's the whole point. I like doing the grooves if I can, gives me a guideline to go along, but this one, you don't have much of an option. So, and truly, the top isn't what matters as most as the bottom does. So we'll see here. We'll see what happens. Alright, hold on. This machine is not liking it. Let me try to adjust this a little bit. I think the knife is down a little too far. Let's see. Alright, yep, that's not going to work. This is also why I like the groove. Because think it puts a little bit too much stress and tension, like drag on the sole. It messes it up. Now, I could be, it's probably just because I'm not good at this with the knife down. So we're just gonna, there are ways, like in the future when the wedge sole wears down, that we could sand it and clean it up without hitting the stitching. So this one, I think we're gonna have no choice but to do that. Let me close up all the stitching, the holes. That one didn't work out like I wanted it to, but that's okay. We adapt and improvise. Alrighty. Let's start right where. Cool. Let's do this. Beautiful. The green is gonna get covered up, unfortunately, but you got a nice black stitch. Let's do the second one. You know, just as I started, I was like, man, I didn't wet this. And I'm like, nah, it'll be fine. And skip some stitches. Don't skip the steps you know work, or else you're gonna have to redo it all over again when it inevitably goes wrong. All right, let's try this again the right way. Let's go that way. Let's see if we can line it back up with that hole again. Very nice, very, very nice. So, I'm not gonna put any nails in here because that 3/4 midsole, that top piece that goes from here to there, has nails going into it and through the inside. You see all the shiny spots? Those are little tack nails that go in and curl so that this is stitched, or so that the 3/4 midsole is nailed to the boot, and then this full midsole is stitched to it, so we don't have to put more nails in there. You don't want to have to put any more nails in there than you already have to. There is going to be a leather piece that covers it, but the less you have to do, the better. All right, we're on to our last pair. We've been on here for 104 minutes. It's like an hour, a little over an hour and a half, I think. That's, my math is right. I could just be tired. What kind of boots are these guys? The ones I just showed you, the ones I stitched, those are JKs. These are a heritage boot. Austin, Fort Worth, handmade in Mexico. Okay, this is so weird. It's not a normal brand. It's like one of those custom brands, I think. It says on the inside, see that there, that black thing? It says Heritage Boot, Austin and Fort Worth, handmade in Mexico, www.heritageboots.com. So they have Austin and Fort Worth, but they're handmade in Mexico. Whatever the heck that means. Don't know. So it's the same one. If you know anything about those guys, let me know. Be happy to learn why they have Austin and Fort Worth handmade in Mexico. But all right, these got new welts. It's shaped okay. I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna taper it. It's a little wide for my liking, so we're gonna do that to both of them. Go from there. See how wide that is? It's not supposed to look like that. All right, took a little bit longer, but I got them shaped. They're still a little wide, but these are size 11. They're pretty wide boots to begin with. So once we get the heels on them, we'll be able to shape it and better taper in that waist. Because that's my main concern, is that waist is so thick, so wide. We don't want that really. It's supposed to have a nice, thin, tapered waist. But with such wide boots, you only have so much you could do. I remember these boots now. These, I don't know if they're made in Texas or if they're made in Mexico, but the client brought them in. We're doing brown stitching on this, right? Brown tops, yeah. So the client brought them in and they were trashed. They were a mess. Apparently he's had these resold like 3 or 4 times, and no one that he brought them to get resold wanted to touch the welts, wanted to touch the footbeds, because he wore a hole straight through to the inside. So we had to take them completely apart. New footbeds. Footbed is a piece that you actually stepping on the inside of the boots. We had him come try them on because he was a local customer. He said they fit good. We gotta stretch them just a little bit because we had to patch the lining. And so we'll stretch them once we have the soles and everything on. But yeah, this is like the 4th resole, I think. And that shows you the power and the benefit of getting a custom pair of boots made. So you can get them resold like 3 or 4 times without any issues. And you can get new footbeds and everything. All right, and it'll almost be like a brand new boot without the break-in period. Well, I mean, he's got new footbeds in here, so he's gonna have to break them in a little bit. All right, I'm gonna bring this up just a little bit. I thought I was too close to the boot. If you get too close to the boot, you hit the stitching that the welt is holding onto. So then you potentially break the welt stitching, and then the sole is just gonna fall off. All right, beautiful. All right, you guys, if you've been watching this entire thing, you'll know what we do next. If you don't know, we're gonna carve a groove in the sole so the stitching is countersunk. Now, do we do green stitching again? Or do we do something cool, something else? We got like a blue, we got red, yellow, orange, a rust. Any suggestions before I turn the machine on? Anything? Can I see the comments that go through and look at them all? I'm still learning all this stuff, guys. I don't want to touch any buttons and accidentally end it. No? Okay. Any suggestions? I got green on the machine now. Red. We got one for red. We could do red. Red would look good. We could dye it like a dark brown. Oh, we got one for rust. All right, we need a tiebreaker. Red or rust. Y'all let me know. Oh, we got another one for green. All right, red, rust, or green. Between the 3, we need 2 for rust. We're going rust. All right, rust it is. Let me adjust this real quick. Then we'll be able to set it up, set the machine up for rust. show you the difference between the orange and the rust, because they're pretty fairly similar. This is the rust, this is the orange. So if you want more of a pop, do orange. Less of a pop, but a little bit more color, go with the rust. All right, see if I can set you guys up to watch me spool this thing. Let's see. Ooh. Let's see, move this down. Can you see it? No, you cannot. Okay. Let's see. Ooh, again, I gotta keep you on this table. Ooh. Can you see that? You can barely see it. All right, look here, okay? So, you got an empty bobbin. I'm gonna go right there. Do you see that? All right, keep your eye right there. I'm gonna put this down here. We're gonna turn the machine on. So this lever spins the bobbin. We'll wrap it around a couple times, and then we'll be able to then it'll lock in on itself, and you can just spool it up. All right, just like that, we got a full bobbin of the rest color thread. All right, so take the green out, put that there for now. Rust goes in, and then beautiful. Oh, now we gotta change the bottom thread too now. Change it from black to brown. Let me go grab the brown and red thread real quick. Put all these other colors away. Where is my brown? I had it 2 seconds ago. Where is? Oh my gosh. Am I retarded? Where'd it go? How do I lose a spool of thread? Come on. Do you guys know where I left it? I'm dropping things. Where the heck? Do you guys know where it's at? Nope. Okay. You got white there. I know I have brown. I had it 2 seconds ago, I think. Oh. This is not funny. Oh my gosh. It's Lego. I knew I had it. I threaded it in the machine, but I never pulled it up. Oh my gosh. Jeez, I gotta get some sleep. Some more coffee or something, man. Thank God this is the last shoe. I got a sip of coffee left. All right. Cool. I knew I had it and was going crazy. All right. So brown on the bottom, rust on the top. We switch the shoes upside down, so it'll be rust on the bottom, brown on the top. All right. Now, look at this toe. It is pretty narrow. So as you come around here, if the stitch is too wide, it's gonna look kind of funky. So I'm gonna push this pretty far back so that the stitches are really, really close, and that way it'll look really nice as it's going around the toe there, okay? All right. Let's do this thing. Our rust looks real nice. There's the stitch. Looks really good. See how nice and even it is around the toe? That's what we want. That's what we want. All right, last boot of the night, guys. It's sad to say, but let's hope this one goes out real nice and no more complications, because I gotta go home and go sleep so I can come back and do this all over again tomorrow. Which, by the way, I can tell you guys what video is going to be posted tomorrow morning. No, tomorrow's Friday. No, Saturday morning, I'll let you guys know what video is getting posted after I stitch this shoe. Very nicely done. Very nicely done. Cool beans. Looks real good. Now I'm gonna, once I put the heels on, we're gonna taper that down a little bit more so it's still not as wide. We're gonna bring it closer in because you don't want such a thick lip on your boot. It doesn't look good. Unless it's a double stitch, which we technically could put a double stitch on this if we wanted to, if the customer wanted to. But single stitch is all it's getting. And that's it. So, thank you guys for watching. Make sure, let's see, it should be there. All right. Make sure you're subscribed. If you're not in the giveaway yet, go do that. The link, if you go to my main page, it says in the description, join the 50K giveaway link. Trying to hit 50,000 subscribers, guys. As soon as we hit 50,000 subscribers, we're giving 5 recrafts away and 5 pairs of free boots. We're giving a free Thursday boot, a free Grant Stone, a free Truman, a free pair of Chisos, a free pair of Hires. So we're giving 5 boots and 5 recrafts away as soon as we hit 50,000 subscribers. I think we have like 95,000 entries and over almost 500 people already entered into the giveaway. So make sure you're a part of that. I appreciate you guys. On Saturday morning, I don't have pictures of them. I don't have the boots in the store yet. Not yet, anymore, because I finished them up and I shipped them out today. But they're a green pair of NYX Chelsea boots. They came to us with a stitch down construction, like those JKs I told you, and we converted them into a Goodyear welt with a honey lug, the Vibram 100 honey lug sole. They look absolutely beautiful. I would show you if I had them, but I shipped them out today. So make sure you subscribe, hit that bell so you know exactly. Saturday, 8 o'clock, I'm going to be posting it in the morning. Go join the giveaway. This was fun. Thank you guys. I do appreciate you. I'm going to try to do more of these. I think this would be nice, at least once a week. Do a live stream. Get some boots ready to stitch. We got some, as you see, tons of boots here that I got to work on and get through. But most of all this stuff is just me at a sander, so you don't want to watch me at a sander. But the stitching is pretty cool. So thank you guys. God bless you. Have a good night. I gotta go home. How do I end this thing?